Every now and again, we get something that changes our views, our minds, or our perspectives. Things that cause us to marvel, to make us wonder how we ever lived without them. Things that are category defining, that give us a glimpse into the future. This is one of them. This is the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 2. Hey, welcome techies. My name is Mr.Techie, and this is We the Techies, your source for all the latest tech news, reviews, unboxings, discussions, rumors, leaks, and much, much more. Content for the techies, by the techies. Now, I'd like to welcome all you techies out there to We the Techies, and to the very first episode of We the Techies. Now for our very first episode, I thought it would be appropriate to talk about a first of its kind, a device not like many others, a very unique device just like this channel, and a first of many things, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 2. Now, I've been using this device as my one and only daily driver, day in and day out, for over a month now. There's a lot to say about it. Now, I've reviewed a lot of phones and a lot of technology in my days. Now, I've used tons of pieces of tech in my day. Lots of phones, lots of tablets, lots of laptops, lots of various tech. But never have I had so much to say about a device. Lots of good, lots of bad about a single piece of tech after just 1 month of use. So in this review, I'm going to talk about a lot of things. Of course, I'm going to talk about the things that every other reviewer has talked about. The performance, the display, durability of the phone, and battery life. All that stuff is great. But what I want to also look at is the category that this device has defined. The foldable phones. We'll look at it. We'll look at similar devices, talk about similar devices, talk about what I see this device being in the future, and give you my impressions on it and how I felt about using this device as my daily driver. And most importantly, I also want to talk about practicality. Now, before I start my review, I want to hit a few bullet points about this device. A couple of things: that this has been the fastest, most powerful device I've ever used, hands down. Now, that's a combination of many different factors. The Snapdragon 865 Plus processor, the 12 gigabytes of RAM, 120 Hz LTPO display. All those factors come together to make a super snappy experience, and by far the fastest phone I've ever used. Of course, let's not forget to mention 5G. This phone is currently on T-Mobile's 5G network. Of course, it is sub-6, not millimeter wave. We're not getting 2 gigabit per second download speeds or anything. However, we are getting upwards of 150, sometimes over 200 megabits per second download speeds, and between 20 to 50 megabits per second upload speed. All those numbers are great, but that translates to me downloading big apps from the Google Play Store in under 10 seconds. It equals very little buffering when I'm watching YouTube videos. Able to stream things in 1440p on cellular network, which I was not able to do before. Also, this is the second phone, and I'll explain why I say the second in just a minute. This is the second phone I've ever used that has not slowed down dramatically after just a few months of using it. And also the first one which has not had, especially the first phones from Samsung, that has not had severe overheating issues and RAM management issues. Now, I say it's the second device because right before using this as my daily driver was the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra. Now, I had lots of complaints about that phone, lots of software issues, some battery life issues. Camera wasn't up to what it should have been. But that phone was the very first Android phone that I'd ever used that did not slow down dramatically after just 2 or 3 months of using it. Didn't have any RAM management issues. It performed like a champ, and this is no different. This device has been fantastic. So now, next I want to talk about the battery life on this device. Battery life was one of the things I was really concerned about when I first saw this phone before I decided to buy it. I did see there was a 4,500 milliamp hour battery, and that is a little bit smaller than what's on the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. Now that's of course one display, a phone with one display, very similar specifications. However, only one display, 6.7 inches, not two displays, one being over 7 inches. So when people were already complaining about that phone not getting flagship flagship level battery life, I was really concerned about this device. But I can assure you, if anyone was unsure about the battery life on this phone has never died on me. And I am a heavy user on my phone. I use my phone throughout the day. I use it mostly unfolded, but a lot of times throughout the day I am using the outer screen folded up. It has never died on me once. I do easily get about 7 plus hours of screen on time, and it's never died for me. There have been days when I've gone home and it's been about 10% battery, but I still do consider that making it through the end of my day, considering my day is usually about 10 to 12 hours long when I'm out of the house, not by a charger, and I'm using my phone actively for most of that time. Battery life was a concern, no longer is a concern. Fantastic battery life. I would say it's very close to the level of last year's iPhone 11 Pro Max, which while using it had the most incredible battery life I've ever used on a device. And I haven't seen any device. Let's talk about the displays. So of course, you know, Samsung has incredible displays, the best displays in the industry, and I gotta say it, I've never used a display like this before in my life. As I mentioned, I did come from the S20 Ultra right before picking up a Z Fold 2. Incredible display, but just this is to a whole new level. The resolution did not hit 4K. No, it's not about specs, everybody. But I think a big factor of it is the size of the display. I can just hold it in one hand. The super slim bezels, very immersive, 120 hertz, super high peak brightness display. It's just really breathtaking. It's unbelievable. It's not oversaturated like previous Samsung displays. It is extremely bright, extremely vivid, extremely high contrast ratios. It is fantastic, and that's about the front and the back display. Now, of course, everyone knows that you can't complain about an 8-inch display that you can fold up, put in your pocket. That's fantastic. But now let's talk a little bit about that outer display. The outer display, when I first saw it, I was extremely happy that they had moved away from the super tiny outer display on the original Galaxy Fold. This looked a lot more usable. However, I didn't see myself using it that often just because of the weird aspect ratio and how thin and narrow it is. And I am used to bigger phones, and I often use the phone folded up without an issue at all. I love that I have a small phone when I want it to be, and then I can unfold it into a tablet when I want to get some serious work done, so I'm multitasking. So the display is incredible. Outer display, super functional, super usable, really happy with it, and inner display, it speaks for itself. I mean, this is unreal. You can't get better than this. However, after using it for over a month as my daily driver, I use the phone a lot. This was a big problem with Z Flip, Z Fold, other foldable devices. It was a big concern for me before I got this device. Now, I'm still very concerned about the durability of it, especially because it's very hard to get a case for this phone. Because, as you know, cases have to attach to the phone, and then to be removed, you gotta put some pressure on the phone. Any pressure put on this phone puts it at risk of damaging that hinge or that display. So that's why it's very hard to find or produce cases for this for the device. Now, using the device from day to day, I am starting to notice when opening it up, it's not as smooth as it was day one. You know, it's still very fast, very fluid, very satisfying to close. Hear that?
Wait, that doesn't sound right.
Very satisfying. However, I want to see if I can get this on microphone, but when I'm opening it up, it's as if I have two pieces of paper that are stuck together with adhesive. I'm trying to pry them apart. It's just like, don't try that again. It's kind of, it irks me to say the least, but it's also a little bit troubling. You know, it's a $2,000 device. I do hope to use this long term, and I do really enjoy using this device day to day. It's just a matter of, it's very fragile. I'm afraid if there's something that's in the display breaking while I'm using it on a daily basis. Other than that, the outer screen protector within 2 weeks got extremely scratched up that I had to remove it. But I think most of us who've used Samsung phone in the last 2 years, we know how bad the pre-installed screen protectors are. They're just really bad quality. I wish honestly Samsung should just remove them altogether, or make higher quality ones. And even on the inner display, this one I'm afraid to take off honestly, but If you can see here, it's already got tons of bubbles in them. And called Samsung Care, try to get this replaced from a Samsung authorized store. The closest one to me, I'm looking at about a 2.5 hour drive. Definitely not worth it. And that for a $2,000 device, I'd expect more repair options than this. Of course, maybe not on the level of an iPhone where I can just go into any Apple store that's a couple miles away from my house, and there's a couple in my city. However, I do just expect for it to be a little bit more repair options, or at least service options, because it's not a repair. You just need someone to take off the screen protector, install a new one. Very simple. But yeah, another big part about practicality is that this phone not only has no IP rating, it has 0 water resistance. Now, let's go back a couple years to back before the iPhone 7, when iPhones were not water resistant, did not have an IP rating. Even the iPhone 6s, 6 and 6s submersion test, they did have a decent level of water resistance. They had rubber gaskets and things implemented inside the phones to stop water from getting in. No IP rating, but still a good level of water resistance. Now, of course, after that they got IP ratings, and now iPhones go 4 and 6 meters underwater, and they have fantastic water resistance, and no one has to worry about their phones when they're in the rain or by the pool, or it takes a dip in the sink when you're washing your hands. However, this phone has 0 water resistance. So when I'm in my car and when I'm trying to get out of my car and it's raining, guess where this phone goes? Not in my pocket. It stays in the car. So that's, I mean, I don't want to spend $2,000 on a phone that I have to baby. It's just, that makes it really impractical. If I'm going to the beach, I have to pick up another phone to take with me. I have to pick up either one of my older iPhones. I have to pick up one of my other Samsung devices. I gotta pick up like any other device I have. It's just, I can't take this phone basically anywhere that I'm gonna be outdoor most of the day. Anywhere with sand, anywhere with dust, anywhere with water, anywhere with moisture. Even on opening up this phone, unboxing it, there was a sticker on top that said "Keep away from moisture." Now, I live in Florida. There's moisture everywhere. So this is just not a very practical device. Practicality is a huge disadvantage for this phone. Even if someone had $2,000, someone enjoyed Android, someone who enjoyed Samsung phones, enjoyed Android, they wanted the most bleeding edge tech possible that money could buy, it would still be hard to recommend this phone. So practicality, I'd give it maybe a 2 out of 10 for practicality. This phone is just not a practical device for day-to-day usage. But of course, we look at the cool factor of the device. This device, the last time I used the device, I got strangers to ask me what kind of phone I was using, was the iPhone 6 Plus. You know, that phone was a massive device. It was Apple's first big screen phone. People would see it, and they would see it. It didn't look like most Android phones. They'd be like, "Oh, what kind of phone is that? The screen looks really great on that." So it's an iPhone 6 Plus, right? After that, no phone, no iPhone, no Samsung device, no Google Pixel, no LG phone. No phone has gotten me people to ask me, "Oh, what kind of phone is that?" Until I got this phone right here. You know, this phone, I'm at work, I'm on the break room, I open up, people are like, "Oh, cool, oh, you brought your iPad, that's cool." Like, "Oh, wait, that's not an iPad." And I was like, "No, it's a Samsung Z Fold 2. It's a foldable phone, you know, it's a foldable phone." A lot of people who aren't too protect savvy, they're like, "Hey, is that the foldable phone?" Like, yeah, it's the Z Fold 2. And so the cool factor is way up there. It is a super cool device. It's great to use. I love it. And all you techies out there, you'd love this device if you had it. Just goes back to me saying, not practical, can't recommend it. There's a long wish list for the next generation Galaxy Z Fold. First, an S Pen. When you have such a big display like this, it's just saying, use a stylus with me. You know, I just want to pop out a stylus. I just want to take some notes on it. I want to move some things around. It would be fantastic to have an S Pen with this device. Secondly, 120 Hz on the outer display. As I mentioned, I use this display a lot more than I thought I would, and it's only at 60 Hz. Now, after using a 120 Hz display on a phone, you can't really. It's not easy to go back to 60 Hz. It's kind of jarring seeing, you know, amazing 120 Hz fluid refresh rate on this phone, on the front, on this display, and then closing it up, and when I'm using this, it's down to the 60 Hz display. It's as if I have one super fast phone and then one not as fast phone, you know. Also, I know this is a huge engineering feat. I would love some sort of IP rating, or at the very least some water resistance as the phone. I would like to use this phone in every use case I use any other traditional candy bar style phone. However, one of the biggest reasons why I can't is because of its lack of water resistance. I live in Florida, as I mentioned. It rains a lot in Florida. I go to the beach a lot. I wash my car and all these things. I want my phone to be on me, and I can't do that. And I can't do that with this phone or any foldable phone at the moment. So water resistance is a big factor. Secondly, fingerprint scanner on the side is absolute. And I just wish Samsung would get their stuff together, man. I mean, their in-display fingerprint scanners are horrible. They're not very. Of course, they're not secure. Of course, they're not that secure as like Face ID. They're slow. They're unreliable. You could have, if you have any kind of anything on your fingers, it doesn't work. And then now the side fingerprint scanner just isn't that reliable. A lot of times I have to do it 2 or 3 times. Sometimes it even I do too many times where it requires a password. I just wish it was more reliable, maybe a little bit larger or something. I mean, it's just really tiny scanner. I really wish it was just a little bit more usable, or at least at the very least a little bit more reliable. But speed, when it does work, it is very fast. I have no complaints about when it actually works. So reliability and size of the fingerprint scanner would be appreciated. Cameras. I mean, they're fine. I mean, I really put them at the level of like last year's Galaxy S10 series. Nothing too special. Not a super high megapixel count, so the detail, the photos lack a lot of detail. Look a little bit washed out. They're not the S20 cameras or the Note 20 cameras. No periscope zoom. No crazy zoom capabilities. No 8K video recording, which of course I know it's mostly a gimmick right now, but I mean for future-proofing sake, you would want to have a sensor that records 8K. And yeah, it's just not there. I mean, using some of the Google Pixel devices, some of the iPhones, you get fantastic camera quality on that. Samsung cameras have never really impressed me. The first one has impressed me with the Note 20 Ultra, Ultra camera system. Just here, it's just not there. I mean, they're okay. You need to get some good shots with them. Nothing too great. Most of the shots you're seeing in this video, recorded that I took of this phone, like some of these, I'll put them up right now. They were taken all on an iPhone 11 Pro. So I mean, just camera quality on the iPhones and the Pixels are a whole different level than some of the other phones on the market, and when it comes to the Fold 2, it's a $2,000 ultra premium device with a kind of a subpar camera appearance. Kind of reminds you of the OnePlus devices. They're really great devices, have a lot to offer, offer a lot of value for their price points. Great devices, great software, great hardware, but camera quality just isn't there. Same thing here for the Z Fold 2. All right, everybody. So to wrap up my review, a couple of bold points. Fastest phone I've ever used. Best multitasking I've ever used. The coolest phone I've ever used. I really enjoyed this phone. I genuinely enjoyed using this phone for as my daily driver for the past 6 weeks or so. Would I recommend it to anyone? Almost no one. Yeah, no, I wouldn't. With that being said, it's a fantastic device. If you are someone with cash to burn, you are a techie. You're a techie who enjoys having the bleeding edge, the most bleeding edge tech in your hands, then I would pick one up. Especially now on eBay, they're going for $1,500-1,700 bucks. Samsung phones, they depreciate super fast, and this phone is no exception. But yeah, I recommend for most people, I would skip this one. It's a great device though. I enjoy using it, and that's that. That's the verdict from Mr. Techie. That's my take on it. This phone will continue to be my daily driver until the new iPhones are released. Now currently this is my main driver. This is my daily driver. The only phone I've had in my pocket for over a month now, since getting rid of the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra. And very soon this phone will be replaced with 2 devices. One being my main, one being my secondary phone. Haven't decided which will be which yet, but one of them will be the Google Pixel 5. Very excited to go back to stock Android after using Samsung's One UI. Yeah, I love stock Android, so I'm really happy to have a stock Android phone again. Have that fantastic Google Pixel quality camera, and also I will be carrying the iPhone 12 Pro Max as my other device. As I said, not sure which will be my main device, which will be my secondary, because I do use Android and iOS regularly. I do really enjoy both. I'm not a huge fan of one or the other. I don't hate one or the other. They both have their pros and cons. I often do use a iPhone and a Android device, but this being such a unique device, I did want to use this phone as my only phone for the time being. And yeah, so my next two phones are going to be the Google Pixel 5 and the 12 Pro Max. And then soon after, whichever phone I don't like, I'll be giving that away or selling it or parking it for a bit and then replacing it back with my Z Fold, just because I do really enjoy using this. I do enjoy the unique experience that this offers no other phone can give me. Alright techies, so that's gonna wrap it up for this one. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video for all the latest tech related news. I'm your host, Mr. Techie. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at We The Techies and Twitter at We The Techies. I'll put the links to those both up in the description. Alright techies, that wraps it up for this video. Hope to see you all next time. Peace.